Hey guys, it's me Anais, and today I'm going to be doing the Would You Rather tag for authors. So I haven't read these questions in advance. Hopefully I'm going to just know right away, would I rather, whatever. I think that I have some opinions about this subject, so let's just get to it. Number 1, would you rather have a male main character or a female main character? I guess in general female. I have written mostly female perspective, but I have a story idea brewing that has a male main character. So I have a big heart, again, but generally speaking, I write from the female perspective. Number 2, would you rather wake up before dawn every day to write or stay up into the early morning hours to write? I know this one. I would rather stay up all night. I already do. Number 3, would you rather write a book that is torturous to write but which is very popular, or write a book that is fun to write but which is only known by a small audience? Okay, I am going to pick the torturous to write version, because if you have success, then generally speaking, you'll have more freedom to write those fun to write things later, because you'll have that safety net of an audience. So, torture. Number 4, would you rather write a sci-fi story or a fantasy story? Well, since I write a lot of fantasy, I would say fantasy. Love sci-fi though. Number 5, would you rather use first person or third person? This I had no idea was so contentious with people. I love both, and I think that both can be done really well, and I don't care if somebody writes in first person or third person, or find one to be superior to the other. I think that it's kind of sad that some people do think that, because they have closed themselves off to so many amazing stories by hating first person for no reason, but they open it and say, oh, it says I'm gonna throw this book down and not give it a chance. So I have written in both. I'm writing in third person now, so right now I'm gonna say third person, but I have written in first person and I love it too. I don't find there to be, I don't have a would you rather. I've seen a lot of really just caustic opinions about first person, and so I'm going to be very firm and say both have merit. I've written both, and the only preference is what the story is. So no, I'm not going to prefer one to the other. I like them both. Whew, that got a little ranty, didn't it? Okay, so number 6, would you rather meet any character of any book or short story in real life for one day, or personally know any author you wish? It's interesting to think of a character coming to life, because then that is something very fantastical, but I'm going to be practical, and I am going to want to know an author in real life so that I can get more writing advice and stories out of that person, because they're a person who has lots of stories and that character is only one story, their story. So I want more authors, baby. Let's see. Number 7, would you rather only be able to write your book in scenes from end to beginning, or only be able to write it in scenes that jump around in a timeline randomly? I am going to say I would rather only be able to write it from end to beginning, because personally, when they jump all over the place, sometimes you miss something, and then those books if you go back and read it a second time, then it starts to make sense. But a lot of people aren't going to give them that added opportunity of a second read through. So I guess end to beginning. All right. Is that taking into account editing? Because with editing, it doesn't matter. Anyway, whatever. I already made my decision. We're moving on. Number 8. Would you rather only be able to write dialogue if you act out the voices out loud, or only be able to write action if you could act it out in real life? I'm going to do the dialogue, because dialogue can be tricky. And sometimes I do say it out loud to see how it feels in my mouth, to see if it's too much of a mouthful or if it's okay. So I'm going to do that. If I was going to act out like some of the sword fighting and things like that, I would be covered in bruises more than I already am. And you know what? I can't afford that kind of doctor care. I just should not do that. Number 9. Would you rather publish with the most successful publishing house in your genre but have to wait 2 years to see your book in print, or self-publish at no expense or marketing assistance but see your book in print within 3 months? I'd rather wait and be patient. If I had a book that fit their publishing requirements, you know, I think that I would rather wait. Yeah. Number 10. Would you rather write a goofy story or write a serious story? I'm going to pick serious stories because that's generally what I write. Although I tried to have a little bit of humor in there, but it's not just goofy the whole way through. So let's just say serious story. Number 11. Would you rather have an authorial voice that always sounds like the narrator from Planet Earth, or have an authorial, that is the weirdest word, voice that always sounds like Captain Kirk? What? This is a weird question. I guess I'd rather have a narrator. I guess I'd rather have a narrator from Planet Earth. Nothing against Captain Kirk, though. Let's see. Number 12. Would you rather write a story knowing that you will have to kill off the main character eventually, or write a story knowing that everyone the main character is close to, you will eventually have to kill off? Ooh. That's interesting. I think that I'd rather have everybody the main character is close to get killed off, because then when you put your character in the worst possible situation, that's when you find out what they're made of. And yeah, if you just kill off the main character, I do have a big heart, and I can love this even when this happens. Sometimes there are books that I've read where the main character dies and I'm totally fine, but sometimes that's probably one of the biggest reasons I won't like something. After I've invested tons and tons and tons of time, like 400 pages in, and then the main character just dies and everything was pointless. I mean, if their death had a purpose, like Braveheart or whatever, but sometimes they just die because I feel like the writer, they wrote themselves in a corner and they didn't want to write themselves out. Or maybe it's a slice of life, which is the other thing that I'm not as big-hearted for. Slice of life stuff that just seems like there was no reason. So anyway, I would rather have everybody around the main character die and then see how they react to that. Whew. Number 13. Would you rather leave your ending somewhat open and bittersweet, or leave your ending on a cliffhanger? That kind of goes back to that feeling that I had before of having things just end. Unless you are in a contract where you know that you're going to get to make that next book. Unless you know that, maybe don't do a cliffhanger. because that is so frustrating to read a book and then have a cliffhanger and then look up to see when the next book's coming out and there is no next book, and sometimes there is never a next book, and then there's a hollow pit in your stomach where that next book should be. So I'd rather leave the ending somewhat open. Okay, moving on. Number 14, would you rather have your cover art designed by Tim Burton or have your cover designed by Stan Lee? Tim Burton. Number 15, would you rather write in many different genres or write only in one genre? Write in many different genres. Yeah. Number 16, would you rather have all of your characters have some physical deformity or have all your characters with some internal twisted nature? I like when you can dig into the psyche and try to figure out why people do the bizarre things they do. So I'm going to say internal twisted nature. Number 17, would you rather have an orphaned main character with good friends or a main character with a good-sized family and family problems? It totally depends on the story, doesn't it? I don't know. I can think of really good books with both of these dynamics. So I think that I'm going to pick the good-sized family with family problems for right now. I don't know. That one could go either way. I don't feel strongly about that. It totally depends on the book. I don't know. Would you rather, number 18, write the sex scene or not write the sex scene? I would rather write the sex scene. Number 19, would you rather write about uncertain dangers and intrigue or write about direct confrontation and violence? Can't it be both? I think that the intrigue makes the direct confrontation even better. But since I have to pick one, no, see, I just feel like they go together. They go together so well. I guess uncertain dangers, because then that can mess with somebody's mind more. I don't know, but I feel like they should go together. Number 20, would you rather have to answer any question put to you by your fans or have no fans asking you questions? I have to answer any question put to me by my fans, I guess. Because that means that people are interested in me and what I'm up to, and honestly, you don't have to answer. I guess the question is you have to answer, but okay, let me rephrase this then. I don't think that any human being has thought anything that hasn't been thought before, so I'm not really concerned with what they would ask me. Whatever. Okay, I think that's it. I think I did it. Yes, I did it. There was 20 questions and I just powered right through. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I am going to definitely be finishing my yummy tea here. I am going to tag Joshua Robertson, my friend, and I am going to tag JD Estrada to do this, and Christy Stratos. Little fanciness. I would love to hear what you guys think, and anybody else. I'm going to put the questions down below, and if you have answers, please make a video. I'd love to hear it. Alright, finishing that tea. I hope you have tea too, and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye.